In expressing the good news of Scripture, in expressing the good news that God has intervened in history and has rescued us, some people take a look at this and they go, well, it's nice that you have a religion that works for you. And I hear this, and on a certain level, I'm a little annoyed by it, but I understand that the person is trying to be charitable, trying to be kind, trying not to attack what I believe, but they also don't understand what I believe. And the reason that they don't understand it is because Scripture comes in and makes a claim that people of the last 30 to 50 years have a difficulty with. And the claim the Scripture makes is really straightforward and is really easy. The claim is this, that there is absolute truth, that there is life, that just as you can't have your own personal biology, just like you can't have your own personal interpretation of how DNA works, just like you can't have your own personal physics, likewise, you can't have your own personal religion. Philosophy, sociology, the study of humanity, psychology, theology, these all have to be correct and have to be right. And we understand from the scientific method that what ends up happening is as people come up with theories about what might be right, you're allowed to set up a working theory, but the hope is that once you gather data, once you experiment, once you broaden your area of inquiry, what should end up happening, what should take place is you should come up with something that is honestly really the truth. And in terms of what happens with the Bible and what happens with Scripture this is making the claim that God has created us, that God has set up this world so it makes sense to Him, that we have been made in a fashion where our facility for intellectual inquiry is such that we don't fully see things the way that God does, but the way that we do things is an accurate subset of what God sees, and that there is life, there is truth, and there is reality that we can depend upon. And so I don't believe that what I have discovered to be true through the revelation of Scripture and through personal experience and through inquiry is something that works just for me. I don't think that it's something that works simply for the people who come to my community. I don't think that it works even for the subset of the people who come to my community and people who come to other congregations, though they may vary in terms of specific theology and vary according to denominations and culture. This is not something that works for some, but doesn't work for all. And one of the reasons why I think that there is a hostility to the biblical faith is because people are hostile to the biblical faith because it is making a claim. And the claim is, this is life, this is truth, this is what you should experience, this is what has worked for me, not because I'm unique, but this has worked for me because this is fundamental, foundational truth. And if there really is a worldview, a biblical faith, a foundational way in which we can encounter life and truth, then it is important that we all find it. And it isn't a matter of this group of people it works for or that group of people it works for. Instead, what you're going to find is there really is life and truth. And it is your responsibility to conform your life to the truth that is out there. This is why people who have encountered God through the biblical faith, this is why people who have become spiritually empowered and spiritually alive, this is why people who have come into relationship with God and have seen transformation in their life, I'm sorry, they can't shut up about it. They're very excited about it. This is a reality that they are so thrilled about because they were in a position where power was not moving, where things were not thriving, where they didn't have what they discovered once they discovered the spiritual renewal that comes from coming into relationship with Messiah and coming into a relationship where their world is conformed to the image of Messiah and to the truth that has moved through salvation history. I know that those who are watching this and who are aware of this will go, yeah, you've described in part an experience that I've had. I know that there's others who will encounter this and will go, you know, I don't really think that it's possible that what you're describing could take place and could happen. And as we move through history, as we move through time, as each one of us has a day that we entered this realm, an equally true and with an equally based reality, we will have a day that we will leave this time frame. We have the opportunity to pursue what interests us. We have the opportunity to pursue relationships. We have the opportunity to avoid relationships. We have the opportunity to find a job, find a career, find a realm in which we are going to put our energies into and succeed or fail according to our motivation, according to our intellect, according to how we plug into things in the world here. And if we find that something doesn't work for us, we have the opportunity to get up and go and do something else. We have the opportunity to live in the place where we woke up this morning, or we have the opportunity to move to a place that might be 50 or 100 miles away, or we might move to a place that's 1,000 miles away, or we might even move all the way around the world to a place where the language is different, where the culture is different, where the architecture is different, and where we can legitimately be described as a stranger in a strange land. But however you choose to live your life, whatever you end up doing, my hope is that you will be a person who will be alive, who will be true, who will be on fire, and who will be excited about the good things that God is doing. And my hope is that you will end up finding a spirituality that sets you ablaze, sets you afire, and draws you towards life and truth. Shalom.